What is up, everybody? It is your boys, Delinquent Duo, Ant and Ange here, coming at you with a live tabletop match of Orcust on the pink and Mermails in the green. Ant is playing Mermails, that's me. And we got Ange over here.
Playing Orcust, you already know.
So, Mermails is going to go first this time. And this first game is a little rough, I'm not going to lie. I misplayed pretty bad, but I'll explain that later on. But basically what I'm doing right now is just doing the full combo off of the Neptibus normal summon. So I have Neptibus normal summon, send Dragoons, then add Dragoons, and then Dragoons adds me the Minstrel, which will get the effect. And this is why Minstrel is so good, because you only need this one card combo. Because Minstrel could be that one discard that you just need.
Yep.
And then, of course, you rip a card out of the opponent's hand right there. And if that was an Ibira or something, that is gone.
Yeah,
so,
but it was a wand, and I hate Minstrel. That card is absolutely busted.
and here's what's more busted. You get the Lapis off of the Dragoons, search as well. And then because he was added to hand, you special summon him right there. And then that's full Needle Fiber play. So I have knowledge of my opponent's hand right now. And I know that's not looking very good. He's got some called buys and some other stuff that aren't really starters. So I tried to use less resources going into my Needle Fiber combo. Right here I do the Auroradon.
But you do know that I have the Lightning Storm, so you kind of have to play around that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely have to play around the Lightning Storm.
Because that card could be an easy blowout if not played around. And my hand isn't particularly the best, obviously. I have maybe one Symbol Skeleton, but I'm going to try to make do with what I do have. So we'll see what the outcome would be. But obviously you guys already know the Auroradon play that, a lot of combo decks this format are making. But he opts to go for the Dragite and the Herald.
Instead of the VFD, I wanted some more negates because I knew he had just a few starters. Barely any starters, and not really many ways to extend his plays. So I got the Spell and Trap negate with the Dragite in case he hits me with the
Lightning Storm.
Right there.
As I try to force a negate off of the Herald and or the Dragite because I want my plays to fully go through.
I let it go through though. I know that he also has the Return in hand, so that's what I was really looking to negate with the Dragite right there.
But obviously I don't. I just go straight to battle phase, getting rid of that Herald because I do not want my things to get banished, nor do I want that negate to stay on the field. So, I just try to go into battle, swing over it because it's so low with the Symbol Skeletons. And right here, I'm really thinking about all the resources that he did use, trying to think about my next plays because I'm not trying to really commit to a board right now. I'm just more or less waiting for him to play out his own board. So I just set 2, pass, and then normally see what he could do on his following turn.
Hey, yes, sir, but this is where my misplay comes in to bite me in the butt here a little bit because the Dragite, while he's a 3000 body, he doesn't really offer anything else except for the Spell and Trap negate. I wish it was a little Boral Savage, but I don't have that card. So what I do right here is try to go into a combo. I know I already used my Needle Fiber, so basically I just go into normal summon the Jet, and I can only go into the Link Rebo, hopefully trying to get some protection.
Yeah, plus you get the O-Line token, so it can come useful maybe later on for further Link plays and things like that. Yeah.
And right here I was trying to get enough bodies to make an access code talker so that way I could banish all of his guys. But I have this level 3 token right here that I really can't do anything with unless I link him off. But I also don't really have any good link monsters in here to do it, because I need enough material and all that stuff. And I need a water monster to go into my link 2 Water Charmer. So I'm just trying to think of what I need to do here, thinking what are my other options or my other extenders I can use.
Yeah, and plus you have to try to play around those 2 wrap up because you just don't know what they are. But you eventually do attack over it and swing in with 3k and the Jet and then Link Rebo. Try and get as much damage as you can. But luckily for Orcust, we love things in graveyards, so that doesn't hurt too much. It just all depends on what we draw for our following turn. So there he goes, he gets rid of it, and then he's making it into the Water Charmer going into Access Code Talker. But I do not want that pop to go through, so I have to impermanence it. nor do I want him to get the permanent boost with the Access Code Talker, because I know that is extremely strong at this point in the game.
Indeed, indeed. Right there, I had to sacrifice a lot of my resources and my spell and trap negate. So, if he has one thing to get rid of this Access Code Talker, it's pretty much game for me. I don't really have any resources left.
Yep, but he tried to call by Ash my return, and then obviously I drew into the Girsu, so wow. Absolutely busted. So then I get the 2 tokens, and then this is going to be my 1-card Galatea. I'm switching my deck on what to dump. I dump a Nightmare, I believe, and then and I have Wand Engraved, so I splash summoned Wands from this Grave effect, get the Link Karibo in it. This is, standard Orcust plays here. Then I make a Galatea. Oh, no, I don't, actually. I make the Lib, because I want to get rid of the Access Code Talker, and I have the World Legacy engraved to make that. So I set the Succession, and with the Succession, I believe I summon Nightmare. Yep, get the Nightmare at it, and then get the Lib for the Galatea, and then I spin away the Access Code Talker, really clearing the field there, because I know that will be a problem in the future, so just getting rid of that immediately is something I want to look forward to. Then, just continuing on with my Orcust plays here, filling up my graveyard with the pieces necessary to OTK further or establish a formidable board. So then, I'm just looking through my resources, sending things to grave through Nightmare, because I know that card just is what really gets my engine going. I send Nightmare and banish, Wand effect, Wand getting Nightmare, and then through that I send back the Wand through Galatea, getting the Babel. I don't want to get any other Orcust cards because I want to make sure that I can play on his turn, because Orcust, that's what it's known for, so you got to get those key pieces. Then right now I'm looking for some Link summons, so I get the Dingirsu, Ding to send the token, and then here I start swinging for some damage. Just get the 26, the 18, and then I enter my main phase 2, and then I link away the Ding and then the Nightmare for my next plays, so I can get the Symbol Skeletons engraved, and then special summon the Ding, and then I summon another Galatea, and I set one, and I pass. So he gets a Diva, I set the Crescendo banishing that, and he ends up scooping and Orcust taking that game pretty easy.
Yep, in game 2, of course, I'm going to go first again, and I cited in my Solemn Judgments, which, if I don't remember correctly, might come through in this game. But I like the Solemns because you can draw off 2 if you get full Needle Fiber combo right there.
Yep, I thought it was the Minstrel, my bad.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a he-stake right there.
Yeah, I just get a little salty, sorry about that.
But what I do got right here is the Teus Dragoons combo. So I use Teus to discard the Dragoons, and then Dragoons will get his effect off, and Teus will get his effect off as Chain Link 2. So what I search is the Abyss Pike, because I've been thinking about normal summoning that, because I know that combo will get me into a VFD plus Toad. Thinking of what I can get off of Dragoons, I'm trying to set up a Mulan Glacia play as well. So I normal the Pike, and I discard the Neptibus, which is in my hand, which will activate Pike and Neptibus' effect. Pike will get me the level 3 Minstrel, and the Neptibus will revive my Dragoons, which will get me into the Bahamut and Toad play.
Yep. Forcing the impermanence, by the way, because they do not want him to get that Toad off at all. Nope. That negation and that steal effect is too strong.
Yep, but the Dragoon still activates from the cost, and I'm able to search for the Lapis Dragon, getting myself a tuner to get into that Needle Fiber.
Yep, and this is where he goes the full Needle Fiber combo, back into the standard Auroradon play, ending on the VFD. Let's see if he gets that off, which I believe he does. He summons the Jet, gets the Jet.
Sir. Right before I want to do that, I of course want to summon the Mulan Glacia because I have the 5 cards in hand. So looking to get some discards of some good starters there.
You're reshuffling, just trying to get as much randomizations, and he snipes off an Orcust monster, and then he snipes off a return, I believe, really killing me. In Orcust, if they do snipe that return or they do snipe that monster, it really does hurt the deck a lot, because sometimes you just need a monster in general, and plus you need something to send off return to get that draw too. And that really hurts the deck, even though a lot of it does go off in graveyard. Sometimes when it's in that early game, it really does count, surprisingly enough, with a graveyard reliant deck.
Right here I'm going into my VFD combo, and because I have 2 bodies on board, I had to go into the extra monster zone with the Garden Rose Maiden. And in this situation, if you have 2 bodies on board, you can't revive the desk bot, so you have to get the Jet Synchron so that you can discard him and revive him later. And you have some more space freed up. He scoops it up right there because I go into the VFD, and there's no out to that. So
yeah, I would have an out normally if I had the scrap. Oh, look at this, and I do have the scrap my first turn, but I go return, setting the brass, and I draw into Orcust Girsu, and it's pretty much the game from there. Yeah, oh, I sent the Nightmare, and then gets the brass, and the brass will summon the Girsu from my hand. Super strong play right there. You know, I just got lucky with the starter and the return, drawing into that Girsu.
Oh yes, indeed. Usually Ash puts a real big damper on this deck, but that return draw was very nice. Yeah. Allowing him to get into his other starter.
Yeah, and then I ended signing a World Legacy or Orcust monster. You know, and then this is a free Galatea right here as well, but I send the Symbol Skeletons, getting back that Nightmare, and that's getting me a nice Galatea. And then I send the Nightmare, sending probably Wand, I believe. Oh, let's get the return. Obviously send something back. You know, this deck, you know, it does a lot of the same plays, but you know, that's what makes it so good. It's that consistent. It's just like, you know, oh, and this is where he gets the Nibiru off. He did the Nibiru a little bit late, because now I have everything that I need engraved, and obviously I have Babel on the field, and the token actually helps me a lot because with my follow-up plays, I could use the token for some link fodder, and then getting my Galatea or Long Girsu, and then obviously going for that Dean Girsu later on to have some free removal. Just, it's way too strong in Orcust. Sometimes Nibiruing, you know, during the Orcust combo kind of hurts, but normally when you're doing a pure Orcust play, it doesn't really affect it. And then obviously it's his turn. He gets the Prince, sending Dragoons, and then getting a Dragoons, and then yeah.
Yep, just trying to do the standard combo right there. I would say that a big thing that I learned during this matchup is the win to Nibiru during the Orcust, because I wanted to get him before he went into his Dingirsu, but I went and did it with the Galatea anyways, but he still has a lot of stuff to use in his graveyard, so I just need to be a little bit more wary of when I can use the Nibiru, because sometimes it'll just have them get a massive plus by getting all their monsters in the grave. So right now I'm doing something a little bit different. I want to get rid of the token because I know he's really big. So I use the Minstrel, discarding the Lantean Heavy Infantry, which will give me a pop of a face-up card on the field. So I try to bait something out with that. And usually I like to pop the Babel because I know that he will chain it anyways. Yeah. So I target the Babel there and think about removing the token some other way.
Yep, and I'm forced to use the Symbol Skeletons, and I'm trying to think about what to revive. Do I want to send something with Dean Girsu, or do I want to get the Galatea to set maybe a return for next play, or get a Crescendo? So I think I'm going to send the Galatea, and then I set it in that zone because I think he's going to link play, and normally he summons in his most right zone. So I always put it so that position, but he puts it in that zone. That's a little mistake, but we will correct that later on. I get the Crescendo. I'm just gonna set the Crescendo. That's not the spot I want to put it in. I want to put it in right there. You know, so this Crescendo is super strong for the following turn, either on my turn or his next turn, because I know that if I get rid of his board, he's gonna have to, you know, either, you know, normal summon just to get something off, or he's gonna have to force a negation. And when you banish something in Mermail or Atlantean Mermail, it just is really strong, you know, because he needs those resources either in grave, or, you know, if he loses those resources, it's just really, really strong against him.
And this is where I tried to get a little bit greedy. I didn't really have any plays left that I was able to do, so I used the Avarice to try to shuffle some resources back and draw something that may be able to extend my plays a little bit. I noticed that I actually have the Lapis in hand, so that was a big reason why I couldn't get into the full combo, because Neptibus wouldn't be able to dump Dragoons to add Prince. So really, really unfortunate that I drew the brick Lapis Dragon. So I just tried to summon out the Teus and try to get into some of my other bigger boss monsters and stuff like that to try to take care of some type of monsters on his board.
Yeah, but it was a misplay because he ended up summoning the Teus in attack when he should have just made the defensive play and went into the defense because he could already, get rid of my monsters anyway. And I don't think it was very smart of him to get rid of that Galatea because, I could just revive it back anyways. It's just really hard dealing with those Orcust monsters mid to late game because they just have so much advantage during that game state.
Indeed.
So he's just trying to think of his follow-up plays, what he could possibly do, and then he passes it on over to me eventually. And then I have the Mekknights in here, so this is why the Mekknights are so strong because it's just free body and a free search for Girsu. It's just super strong, and then obviously it searches you a starter, which you definitely need. And say like he did have a negation for it, I still had an Orcust monster in my hand anyway to make the Galatea play. So it's just absolutely busted. The Mekknights in here just giving you so much advantage. And then I have the Orcust monster in my hand, so I just discard the skeletons, I believe. And then I, get the battle back. And then I wand away, targeting the Nightmare, summoning the Nightmare, and then I symbol skeletons for the Galatea. And this is pretty much game right here. This board is super hard to get over, and then you could obviously just go for the OTK plays. I get the return to give me some more free draws, and this is pretty much like sealing the deal. What I'm pretty much doing right now is I'm just trying to figure out, how to get rid of that Nibiru, which I already do know, and then a way to securely get, Galatea on the field, it's sticky on the field, so I Girsu it. I'm thinking of where to place it. I place it and the extra monsters don't steal it because I wanted the Galatea to have the effect of not being destroyed by battle. Then I also have the Girsu protection effect for further monsters, and this is where I go for battle. Galatea getting the Link Rebo, Mekknight Blue getting rid of the Teus, and then Girsu swinging in for direct damage. Leaving him at 36. Now, he's left with little to no resources now, and he's thinking on my main phase 2, what can he possibly do? He does have the Nibiru in hand, which he tries to activate, so he reveals the Nibiru. And then, so he's continually thinking on what to do, because this is kind of a pivotal play right now. So he has a Nibiru, and I just crescendo it, and that pretty much was the end of that. So it's his turn right now, I believe, or he's looking at his resources.
Yeah, there was really no way for me to get into my Needle Fiber combo from this stage, and I know he has already so much stuff going for him right now. So I try to make some plays. I do have the Neptibus summon, so that's pretty good. Sending the Prince.
Yep.
Sending the Dragoons.
And I changed the Nightmare. Obviously that, and then I target the Girsu, I believe. And then he tries to, further his plays, trying to create some sort of advantage. That's why Orcust is so good too, because, just being able to just gain so much advantage on the opponent's turn by just disrupting them. Even, by Nightmare changing the attack of a monster on, their side of the field. It could really make or break that game because then they can't attack over it. So he has the Minstrel now. So he added the Minstrel off that Dragoons.
Yep, definitely wanted to get the Minstrel because I know that he will be able to activate my Dragoons. The banishing effect isn't really that important right now. I just need to get something to activate the Dragoons so I could search me a good card here.
So yeah, obviously he saw that I had the Buster in hand. In Orcust, sometimes you do draw it. It's whatever. Sometimes it's really just good to have discard fodder for battle, because when you do draw it, it's kind of dead. Especially you don't want to go for the Buster Lock play mid to late game because there's pretty much no use in going into it, because that's normally like a first turn scrap combo play. So it's kind of dead in hand. But you never know. Maybe you could normal summon it and then link it away with Galatea to make a long Girsu later on down the road. And then obviously, since it's in that game, say you probably have 2 Banish machines for the long Girsu play, and then hopefully you could send something off of that later on.
And this right here is just the embarrassment that I was talking about earlier of me horribly misplaying, because I had the Avarice in my hand the whole time. And what I should have done before activating the Neptibus and all that stuff, before getting the Dragoon's effect, I should have shuffled the 5 monsters back into my deck to get the Lapis back into my deck, and then I would be able to search him with Dragoons and then go into full combo. But I missequenced that right there, and it really just cost me the game, so I'm pretty much forced to just scoop it up at that point. Only thing I could do is get a little Halqifibrax.
Yeah, which is honestly
Nothing.
because I could just send it away with another Dingirsu, or send it with something else. Very, very easy to get over. And then so it's my turn now, and then I have my full graveyard. So there you go. I get rid of the Buster, and then there we go with the blue, and then blue searches Mekknight Girsu, so strong, and that is the game right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, I know we can continue this combo from there, and a little Halqifibrax won't stop anything.
So thanks for watching, you guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you.